I'm just going to give you an intro to the truck. Excuse the language, so I don't know much about trucks as it is, but I'll give my best little intro on how we operated the truck. Let's go have a look at it. Okay, so this is obviously passenger side. What I know of, this is your battery isolation switch. Obviously that's on. I can't pull it off. If you turn that battery isolation off, you can see that comes out. So that's an easy way for me to know what's on, what's off. One fuel tank here. So the lid comes on. Just on this side, so this side of the truck, which is passenger side, number 1 and number 2. So those two things there control your boat winch. The control for that is in here. There's your control, and you can see here these are numbered 1 and number 2, and you can just control that from the ground. Coming back to this side, you've got a little switch down here. This switch here is for your spotlight on the side. I just switch that off and that goes off. In the case if you did all of a sudden run your truck batteries and they went flat, so if these batteries here went flat, which start the truck, you can actually use this big Anderson plug, leave that plugged in at all times. You got a switch here, so that switch there will actually allow you to power the truck from our 3 AGM batteries in there. Never used it, never had to switch it, but it's just there just in case you do get flat batteries. So you can open the cab. Obviously you got your cab, you got your storage space. That's all in here. Pretty simple, both sides. Nothing much around the interior. If you want to get into the motor, so you get in under through here. So you got a flick switch there. We've got the other one over this side. That comes up, that comes up. And then you can get into the motor down through there. I'll do that back later. Little makeshift console, you can bring that out. Come around the truck, you got your dog cage. Obviously you can open that all times. Just a spare toolbox. Here's your hitch. I've removed the reversing sounds, that big beep 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 you get with trucks. So that just plugs back in. If you want your big reversing sound on, we've just got it unplugged. There's actually a water tank there. We had never used it, so that's also that option there for you to use. Come around, you get your drawers. Over the electrical stuff, obviously your inverter. Flick that on, you'll see a green light comes on. Then you got access to power. All the red arc and the DC charger, the instructions are in the glove box. In here you've got lights, so that's just a spotlight on the outside. You'll be able to see on that side. You got some lights for in here, you can see they just lit up. Not sure, and then a couple of dead ones or a couple of free ones. Obviously your plugs, everything to worry about there. Fire extinguisher, nothing too much in there. Coming into the truck, here's your other fuel tank. So the other fuel tank's that side. If I ever want to really check the fuel tanks manually, in here, which is just next to our voltage, I got my little manual dipstick. So I just plonk that into the tank. That'll tell me how much fuel is. But we know we get 500 k's easy out of the tank. So I've actually never used that. It's just been there from the previous owner. What else we got? Fuel goes in there. If you ever did run out of fuel, I've got some photos I'll send to you. But in on this side, you've got see that little, what is a boat pump motor. So this little pump here, if you ever run out of fuel in the truck, you don't have to bleed anything. You just come and pump that non-stop and pump it up till it's really hard, and then you're away, you're off and running. Into the cab, this is your fuel tank. Always run the left-hand side first. Reason being is because apparently if any electrical fault happens within the fuel tanks or anything, it'll always resort back to the original right-hand side tank. So always run your left first. One thing I did notice, sometimes when getting in the cab, you'll flick it to only halfway with your knee, so just keep an eye on that. That's your AC, so I think that's all your driving lights and everything like that. On the other side, this switch here is a spotlight. Down here is your computer chip. We've only ever used it once in the Blue Mountains. If you want to turn your chip on, we just go back to neutral, put it in idle, and then turn the chip on. And then, yeah, we just left it off. We've never used the computer chip. It does work, so it's really good for towing. What else have we got? Yeah, just the odometer. I always reset that every time I flick over a tank. So I know I always get 500 Ks out of a tank of fuel. You got your electric brakes down here. So there is electric brakes already set up in the truck. Your spotlights, with the certificate inspection we had to take one set off, so you got all these spotlights, they all work. You got your boat loader there, and then up top is all your solar panels, but you don't have to do anything there, everything's all sweet. One thing I'll show you with the tyres, which I'll also give you instructions on paper, is you've got your instructions here. You got a little valve here, and the reason why we haven't put this one back on is this is to pump up the inside tyres. So you can see you got two tyres, so you'll actually need to find the valve, which is down in there, and you put that on and screw it on, and then that sits there, so then you can pump up your inner tyre. The reason why the tyre place said not to put that one back on, because it was wearing against the tube. But that's in here in the glove box, so if you do need to pump that inside rear tyre up, that's in here, along with all your Red Arc instructions. I think that covers it. That's pretty much it. You got your tyres, got your instructions, easy pump and do the lock nuts, one turns left, one turns right, but I'll have them on the instructions for you on paper. Enjoy the truck, and we'll see how we go.